Poland, a landlocked yet profoundly open country at the heart of Central Europe, has long stood as a geographical crossroads, a vast transition zone between east and west, north and south. Spanning from the icy embrace of the Baltic Sea in the north to the forested uplands and rugged Carpathian Mountains in the south, Poland's geography is a dynamic interplay of flat plains, rolling hills, river basins, and ancient mountain ranges. The very landscape of Poland tells a story of endurance, movement, and adaptation, a terrain that has witnessed the rise and fall of kingdoms, the migration of peoples, and the forging of cultural and geopolitical identities. To begin understanding the geography of Poland, one must first acknowledge its central position in Europe. Poland is bordered by 7 countries: Germany to the west, the Czech Republic and Slovakia to the south, Ukraine and Belarus to the east, and Lithuania and Russia's Kaliningrad Oblast to the northeast. This geographic placement has long subjected the country to the push and pull of powerful neighbors. It is both a land of transit and of boundaries, a space where empires clashed, cultures merged, and borders shifted time and time again. The most dominant geographical characteristic of Poland is its flatness. Much of the country lies within the North European plain, a vast stretch of lowlands that extends across northern Europe. This plain, forged by the grinding advance and retreat of glaciers during the ice ages, covers nearly 3/4 of Poland's territory. As a result, the terrain in the central and northern parts of the country is remarkably level, punctuated only by low hills, meandering rivers, and glacial landforms such as moraines and eskers. These plains have long made Poland highly accessible, a blessing for trade and agriculture, but also a curse in times of war, when foreign armies could sweep across the land with relative ease. In the north, Poland meets the Baltic Sea, forming a relatively short but crucial coastline that stretches approximately 770 kilometers. This coastal region includes sandy beaches, dune systems, and a series of shallow bays and lagoons. The most prominent coastal feature is the Gulf of Gdansk, which houses the historic port cities of Gdansk, Gdynia, and Sopot, collectively known as the Tricity. The coast is also home to the Vistula Spit and the Hel Peninsula, both of which offer natural protection to harbors and serve as important tourist destinations. Poland's access to the Baltic has historically provided a maritime outlet, facilitating trade, cultural exchange, and naval power, especially during the era of the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. South of the coastal plains lies the Lake District, particularly the Masurian Lake District, a picturesque region dotted with thousands of glacial lakes and surrounded by dense forests. This area is the remnant of glacial activity and is one of the most environmentally rich and ecologically sensitive regions in the country. The Masurian Lakes have not only been a source of natural beauty, but have also served as natural barriers and defensive positions in historic conflicts. The region's complex mix of waterways and woodlands has nurtured unique flora and fauna and has become a popular destination for boating, fishing, and ecotourism. Continuing southward, the terrain begins to change gradually. Central Poland, which includes the regions around the capital Warsaw and the city of Lodz, is defined by its fertile soil and vast agricultural lands. This heartland is drained by Poland's most important river, the Vistula, or Wisła in Polish. The Vistula River is more than just a geographical feature, it is the lifeblood of the nation. Originating in the southern Carpathian Mountains, the Vistula flows northward for over 1,000 kilometers before emptying into the Baltic Sea. It cuts through the entire length of Poland, linking the southern highlands with the northern ports. Along its banks lie some of Poland's most important cities: Kraków, Warsaw, Taormina, and Gdansk. The river's basin supports a dense population and plays a central role in agriculture, transportation, and industry. The Oder River, Odra in Polish, defines much of Poland's western border with Germany. Like the Vistula, the Oder has been a crucial artery for commerce and cultural exchange. Its basin, especially in the southwest near the city of Wrocław, is a center of economic activity and has historically served as a frontier between Slavic and Germanic civilizations. The Bug River, on the other hand, marks the eastern boundary with Belarus and Ukraine, flowing through sparsely populated areas that have retained much of their rural and traditional character. As we approach southern Poland, the flat landscapes give way to highlands and mountains. Here lies the Lesser Poland upland, a region of rolling hills, limestone cliffs, and rich mineral deposits. This zone transitions into the Carpathian Mountains, a formidable arc of rugged terrain that includes the Beskids and the Tatra Mountains. The Tatras, Poland's highest mountain range, form a natural border with Slovakia and are home to the country's highest peak, Rizy, which rises to 2,499 meters. Unlike the gentle contours of the Polish plains, the Tatras are alpine in character, featuring sharp ridges, deep valleys, and glacial lakes. The mountains have long served as refuges for highland communities, centers for skiing and hiking, and symbols of national pride. The Sudetes, another mountain range located in southwestern Poland along the Czech border, are older and less dramatic than the Tatras but equally significant. Their geological composition includes ancient rocks rich in minerals, giving rise to mining industries that date back to medieval times. The Carpathian Mountains, part of the Sudetes, contain the iconic peak Śnieżka, and the region is known for its spa towns, historical castles, and biodiversity. Poland's climate is another important geographical factor. It lies at the intersection of oceanic and continental climatic zones, which creates significant seasonal variation. Winters can be harsh and snowy, especially in the eastern and southern regions, while summers are warm and often humid. The western part of the country tends to receive more rainfall and milder winters due to Atlantic influences, while the eastern interior experiences more extreme temperatures. This climatic diversity influences agriculture, forestry, and the everyday life of Poles, who have adapted to these seasonal rhythms for centuries. Natural resources are unevenly distributed across Poland's geography. The southern uplands and mountain areas are rich in coal, zinc, lead, and copper. The Silesian coal basin, centered around Katowice, is one of Europe's most important industrial regions and has been central to Poland's economic development. Meanwhile, the northern and central plains provide fertile soils for cereal crops, potatoes, sugar beets, and rapeseed. Forestry is important in the eastern and northern parts of the country, where vast tracts of coniferous and mixed forests are managed for timber and conservation. Poland's ecosystems are diverse and protected through a network of national parks and reserves. The Białowieża forest on the eastern border with Belarus is one of Europe's last remaining primeval forests, and is home to the European bison, or wisent, a symbol of conservation efforts in the country. Wetlands, dunes, alpine meadows, and river valleys offer rich habitats for wildlife and are crucial to biodiversity. Poland's geography is not only defined by its physical features, its mountains, rivers, and plains, but also by how people have inhabited, shaped, and responded to those landscapes over millennia. Human geography in Poland is a story of adaptation and resilience, of how communities evolved across contrasting environments, of how cities rose along trade routes and rivers, and how culture, language, and economic life intertwined with the contours of the land. In this vast and varied country, geography has not simply influenced people, it has defined them. From the earliest days of Slavic settlement, the natural environment of Poland dictated the rhythm and reach of human habitation. The great northern plains, open, fertile, and traversable, invited early agricultural communities, while the forests and lakes offered resources and protection. These early societies flourished along river valleys, particularly the mighty Vistula, the Oder, and their tributaries. The Vistula Valley became the cradle of Polish civilization, offering water for crops, routes for trade, and strategic locations for the construction of towns and fortresses. One of the most distinctive features of Poland's human geography is the uneven distribution of population across the country. The densest concentrations are found in the south and west, particularly in regions tied historically to mining, industry, and commerce. The Silesian region, anchored by cities such as Katowice, Gliwice, and Bytom, forms a dense urban industrial belt. Rich in coal, iron, and other minerals, this area underwent rapid industrialization in the 19th and 20th centuries, drawing workers from rural areas and forging a complex urban sprawl of factories, neighborhoods, and transportation networks. In stark contrast, the eastern regions of Poland, including Podlaskie, Lublin, and parts of Subcarpathia, remain largely rural and less developed. Here, small villages dot the landscape, and agriculture remains a dominant mode of life. The contrast between East and West, often referred to as the Poland A and Poland B divide, reflects not only natural differences in soil, terrain, and resources, but also historical legacies. The West and North were once under Prussian and German control, benefiting from greater infrastructure investment and modernization, while the East remained under Russian imperial rule, where development lagged and many reforms came late. Central Poland, dominated by the Masovian lowland, hosts the capital, Warsaw. Located near the geographic center of the country, Warsaw rose from a modest trade post along the Vistula to become the political, administrative, and cultural heart of modern Poland. Its central location, linked by railways, highways, and river routes, has helped it grow into a metropolis of over 1.7 million people. The city's post-war reconstruction, after being nearly leveled during World War II, is a testament to the Polish spirit of rebuilding from ruin. To the south, the Lesser Poland region, with its historical capital Kraków, reveals another layer of the country's human geography. Krakow's location on the Vistula and near the Carpathians made it a natural hub for trade, education, and royal authority. It was spared the destruction suffered by many other cities and today retains a wealth of medieval and Renaissance architecture, surrounded by a landscape of uplands, river valleys, and cultural heritage sites. Nearby towns like Wieliczka, known for its ancient salt mines, and Zakopane, nestled in the Tatras Mountains, reflect a fusion of human endeavor with geographic setting. In the northeast, the Warmian Masurian voivodeship, often called the land of 1,000 lakes, tells a different story. Here, settlement patterns are more dispersed. Small towns and lakeside villages are interwoven with forests, protected reserves, and winding roads. The historical imprint of German, Polish, and Baltic culture still lingers in place names and architecture. This region, due to its glacial origins and rugged hydrological landscape, never supported large-scale industry, instead developing around tourism, agriculture, and seasonal recreation. Its natural seclusion preserved both ecological integrity and local traditions, making it one of Poland's most cherished destinations. Moving to the Baltic coast, the Pomeranian and West Pomeranian voivodeships showcase the importance of maritime geography in shaping human life. The major port city of Gdansk stands as a historical and economic pillar. Situated at the mouth of the Vistula, Gdansk has long served as Poland's window to the sea. It was once a member of the Hanseatic League and a prized possession of various empires and states, including the Teutonic Knights and Prussia. The city's complex history is mirrored in its urban fabric. Gothic churches, brick warehouses, and modern shipyards tell a story of commerce, conflict, and resistance, most notably as the birthplace of the Solidarity movement that challenged communist rule in the 1980s. Gdynia and Sopot, together with Gdansk, form the Tri-City, a modern urban agglomeration that blends tourism, naval industry, and education. The coastal regions also include popular resort towns, ferry ports, and fisheries, with geography providing both livelihood and cultural identity. The sea here is not merely a border but a lifeline, influencing weather, economy, and even cuisine. Beyond cities and economic regions, Poland is a country defined by its villages. Over 40% of Poles live in rural areas, and these communities reflect deep-rooted ties to the land. Village layout varies with geography. In the open lowlands, linear and dispersed settlements dominate, while in the southern hills and mountains, compact, clustered villages prevail. Traditional wooden architecture, roadside shrines, and patchwork fields of rye and potatoes reflect a centuries-old way of life. Even as urbanization accelerates, these rural landscapes continue to serve as custodians of language, folklore, and faith.